Welcome back to VADA Live. I'm your host, Dan Kerrigan, and today we are welcoming a guest back to the program, chatting AI in the dealership space with an expert. We're going to cover a lot, what it means for your business, where's it going, and cutting through all the buzzwords as we've done before. The first time we chatted with Diana Lee, who is co-founder and CEO of Constellation, and a featured speaker at VADA 26. Mark your calendars if you have not done so already, in Virginia Beach, June 22nd through the 25th. Diana, great to have you back on VADA Live.
Thank you so much for having me, Dan.
Question to start, and I think this is how we kicked off our discussion last time. AI can still feel like a buzzword. What does it actually mean for dealers in this context right now?
I think it means so much. I think whether it be for dealers or even for myself, it is the opportunity to be able to become super efficient and uber profitable right now, because there's so many new ways of approaching processes and tasks, and where you needed a lot of humans to actually do all of this. I think now is the time to understand and to advance faster than everybody else so that you could actually have the most profitable dealership out there.
We mentioned your leadership role, CEO and founder, Constellation. We'd love to check in on the business. Any news to share? Any upcoming developments? We love that at VADA Live.
Yeah, Dan, I think the most exciting thing is a couple days ago, I got a message from my team and they were like, this is the most exciting time, but we got invited to the beta pilot from OpenAI. And so we are launching one automotive OEM brand on OpenAI for the first time on the beta platform. And to me, that is super exciting because it's like, being invited to Google's platform when they first went live, and the first advertising going on that platform is happening now. And so the beta probably has only 15 brands, and that's not 15 auto, I mean 15 of any brands to launch for the first time. And, you're going to rank based on what people are typing. So it's super exciting, and whoever the brand that was chosen will be the first to actually represent auto on OpenAI.
What do you think that means for dealers now in the future? How should they take the news?
I think that they have to take the news as in that it's coming. It's unavoidable. Our head of strategy has already said there's only 1% of Google paid media traffic that actually converts back to a website now. So with all the changes and all these AI platforms, it's to be where we have to realize that Google is no longer king, and that there are all these other places that consumers are going to ask questions. And so whether we like it or not, and includes myself, I'm going on most of these chatbots to ask my questions. I don't always go on Google anymore to ask those questions. So I think that to realize marketing is now forever changed. And I do think that they have to look for other innovative ways to get their brand out there.
You'd mentioned this too, and we came across a blog post actually Constellation shared with the change up on SEO, talking AEO, GEO. What can dealers take away from that change, even if it's just considering a shift in consumer habits? Well, what pragmatically can they be doing, or where should their mind be about all those shifts?
Yeah, Dan, I mean, this is the most interesting time I've ever seen. Okay, so I'll tell you a story which is so funny to me. So I was actually at a pharmaceutical meeting with my strategy team, and during the life sciences meeting, the subject of AEO came up with this pharma brand, because a lot of people are like, what is AEO? Isn't it like SEO? Isn't it exactly the same? AEO is the ability for your brand to come up organically on all the chatbots that are out there. It's pretty much just like what SEO was, is you would rank on Google organically. Well, now it would rank on. frankly. And there's a way to measure all of this at this point. But so my head of strategy, David Johnson, then puts up basically what has been happening. And on the screen, he shows that there's a Honda dealership that is ranking higher than Honda themselves on AEO. And I'm going to tell you, Dan, this is the first time in history that I believe a dealer can outrank an OEM. And think about it. I think about why, right? Most of the OEMs have tier one agencies that they're doing business with. It's going to be a WPP, an Omnicom, a Publicis, or one of those. And it's a huge company with thousands and thousands and thousands of employees. A company like myself that has a couple hundred employees doesn't have nearly the amount of infrastructure that an Omnicom has. So when new innovative products actually come out, think about all of the layers that have to say yes, right? Like, you know, if I want to invent something and I came up with a concept and I want to launch it at an Omnicom company, I can't unless I get all the layers to say yes to this idea, right? It's got to go to a director, a VP. That VP then has to bring it to a C-suite. The C-suite then has to go, and it literally has to go all the way up the chain for approvals. Think about it. Before anything can be done, even pitching. Never mind, basically, you know, launching, just pitching the fact that you're going to show this to a brand. So a dealer doesn't have all those filters. They can make a decision in 5 minutes and decide to launch. A company like myself can make a decision in 5 minutes and it goes right up the chain, and literally I hear about it by the end of the day. I'm launching. That's it. 24 hours. I've got it. And I'm going to start testing right away. That is the advantage that dealers have right now. It is an opportunity to actually beat the OEMs, and you should take it because this has changed forever right this very minute because of these new AI bots that are out there where advertising is going to happen, searches are going to happen, SEO and AEOs happening right now. And if you haven't done it, I would tell you, you should do it now. Get in before everybody else does.
What's that first step for those that want to take the leap? And I know a number of us, and even as we have these conversations, Diane, there's more people that can relate and say, oh, I see how some things came up in a search that I had, and I saw that there was a little thing that said it was cited. Okay, now I get it. But what's that? How do you make that leap from saying, okay, we're changing up SEO, I'm trying to get in these other directions, am I engaging a marketing company, I'm getting involved, am I just understanding it, directing my website? What's that recommendation from your side?
I think, Dan, that sometimes the frustration I have with the auto dealership community, and I love them very much. So, you know, I've been in auto for over 30 years. I have dealership in my blood. I was in retail. I sold cars. I was in F&I. But we are so relationship heavy, and I love that, right? Like, a dealer could be screaming at me. I could be yelling right back, threatening, and they're threatening me. And then they go, let's go to lunch. I go, okay, let's go. And I love that. I love the opportunity to just be me, you know, and I could be crazy me and they could be crazy back. And we love it. I love it. But at the same time, my frustration would be that sometimes they've been with their ad agency for 30 years. And it's a traditional one, and they don't have this ability to understand all of the things that's happening technologically because it's advancing in lightning speed. And because of that, they decide to take the Yankee tickets versus actually understanding how do you work with a provider that really does understand AEO and AI and can get you out of the Stone Ages and is willing to try. Because this is the thing, I will never say that we're a subject matter expert. What I will say is there are certain companies that are pivoting, failing, getting up, trying again. And I'm one of those, But you got to find one of those at this point. Because if you don't, I think it's too late to the race. And right now is the ability to take advantage because the OEMs haven't even done it yet.
Appreciate that insight. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, Diana, too, but when we talk about agencies getting involved, changing things up, there's not necessarily a price to entry. It doesn't necessarily need to be top tier. It's just more that innovative approach as opposed to increasing spend across the board, right?
It's not even that expensive. Even the OpenAI pilot is not expensive at all right now. But like, hey, if you have an opportunity to go into a beta test that gives you the opportunity to be one out of 15 brands in United States to launch, and not auto brands, just like overall, why wouldn't you do it at this point? What is there to lose at this point? If you have an ability to outrank Honda, you should do it at this point. Like I would, because you know why? The thing is, in AEO, we're putting up pages, right? We're putting up pages and pages and pages and pages, and it could all be done super fast. But this is the opportunity that even if an OEM or anybody else came in, you are so ahead of the game. It's like being an athlete. If you ever listen to some of these athletes, whether it be Michael Jordan or it be some of the biggest athletes out there, they always say, you know, I was getting up at 4 a.m., then I was running, then I was practicing, then I'd have my breakfast, then I went back to the game, then I practiced some more, had my lunch, went back to the game, and then I practiced until 8 o'clock. I did that from the ages of 12 to 18. And guess what? If you started at 17, I'm going to kill you because I've already done it for 8 years. That's the same thing that I'm saying right now. Here is a golden opportunity for dealers. Here it is. And this is right now stage one. And I would say this is the opportunity that you have to beat everybody. And by the time they catch up a year later, you have 20,000 pages up about you. That's how you're going to win and cripple everybody. It's now.
Which is amazing. We're talking about this on a national scale. If we start looking at having a competitor advantage, even regionally, statewide, definitely hearing you there, Diana.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We had homed in on marketing, and you mentioned your automotive experience, decades worth. When we talk about AI and dealers who are in various sizes of dealerships themselves, but also research and adopting this, other areas that can benefit, where do you recommend? Is this something that can help across the board, ops, sales, somewhere else? Where, other than marketing, which is amazing, can this really assist?
So this is so interesting, Dan. I did this myself for my own company, and I think that dealers can also relate to all of this. So I went on OpenAI. This is like a few days ago. And the only reason is because I don't know if people are aware, but there's been a huge fear in the software industry, and mainly because there's a lot of talk out there. Can AI replace most of the software licenses that are actually out there? And software valuations have been tanking right now.
Salesforce have been tracking too, among others.
Salesforce is down like 30% because of this recent situation where do we actually need all of these licenses and software? If can't AI do it all, right? Adobe, Canva, there's all these ones that are super broad. If I can make an image on an AI, why would I have to actually have an Adobe license, for example? How does that apply to us? This is how I have it applied to me. We use Asana. It's a workforce, basically, tool that you can assign tasks out to anybody. But what's so easy to do is take all of the tasks that we're somehow communicating from team to team, put it into OpenAI or into a chatbot, and ask the question, what are the tasks that I'm asking the most of? And why don't you build an autonomous agent to actually do the task, right? Because right now, everybody's building autonomous agents. I have people doing it on their own here as employees because it's so easy to do. So at this point, wouldn't there be a great opportunity to look at the tasks that your people are doing every single day, right? Just figure out what those are. Repetitive. It could be BDC tasks. What do you do repetitively? And then organize yourself to know step 1, step 2, record those tasks, step 3. And if you were going to train a robot to do exactly those tasks, what would exactly the instructions be? This is the time to do all of that.
It's amazing, Diana. It's a bit of a host disclaimer on my side. Salesforce just came top of mind for me. No affiliation, nothing against Salesforce. I know Workday and other software companies is an amazing point across the board. We had spent a lot of time, last time we had chatted, talking about data, the importance of that for auto dealers. Any changes there? Why does it still matter? And where's the power in it for dealers to really harness? What's the opportunity there too?
It's the most important. Data is king at this point. The problem right now is, and I don't know if people realize, but Google, how they got as big as they did, was they websites. So they have crawlers, and they're basically crawling they crawl all of Reddit and all the social media channels. And why were they allowed to do it? So this is how it actually happened. All work. So basically they have bots, and they're basically reading the public website. They can't go into a wall, because then you could sue them and say, hey, there's a paywall. You just basically stole my information. But whatever websites that are out there, they can actually crawl and read all the information. So this is how Google got started. Well, there were companies that said, hey, how dare you, here's a cease and desist, don't crawl my website. Google only said, okay, then you won't rank. You're not going to show up on SEO. You're not going to rank at all. Okay. And you know what? All those companies went back to Google and said, please crawl my website, because you don't exist, right? You don't. The bots work the same way, whether it's OpenAI, Claude, or anything else. It's crawling out there. It's taking all of your information, and it's trying to A/B test what is actually real. And it's going to test different ways to make sure the information is accurate and real. And so right now, there's a lot of bots out there that are crawling. But if you don't have that information out there on the web, you don't actually exist. And that's where it's super important to have the right technological partner, so that the information's there and that it's readable. It could take the information, process it as data, and then put it back out. Now, why this is also important to others, and especially to a dealer, is the number one thing that none of these bots have is your DMS data. It's all of the DMS data that is personalized to you. And I feel like dealers don't know that, and they give up their data like that. It's like, oh, you want my data? Here it is. You're giving them PAI information, name, phone number, email address of every customers that went to your service, sales, and any place, right? Even your BDC. They came to your BDC. Somebody actually made a phone call. It's in your CRM. And dealers are so readily willing to give that up. To me, that is the information that none of these bots can actually get. It is the most valuable. And so right now, data is king. The more you collect of private data, the more value that your company has. Most of these software companies that don't make it is because they don't have a differentiated system in place. But the number one thing that you can differentiate by basically saying, well, OpenAI doesn't have my data, Claude doesn't have my data, all of these bots, they don't have my data, that's your differentiation.
How does that get leveraged and operationalized and support in this current environment?
So I think that companies' value have a lot to do with personalized assets that they have that nobody else actually has. And so overall, if dealers have it and it's worth money, they shouldn't be so willing to give it to every single person actually out there. and how it could get leverage. And I'm just giving you an example at VADA. If there was a way to aggregate it for all the Virginia dealers and then share that information where it could give insights on in terms of being able to increase sales in any capacity, to find similarities and differences of the patterns of those insights for dealers, now that's when it's worth a lot. But it's the first time I'd say anybody and everybody can become a technology company now. It's like a crazy time, but you could do it because of all these other bots that are out there. The only thing I would say, Dan, is whatever information you're giving to the chatbots and you're loading, they have it. So be careful what you put in there, because every piece of information is learning from the next information that everybody's putting in, and it's making things better for the chatbot, not for you.
And Diana, for dealers trying to cut through the noise, maybe taking notes throughout this conversation, amazing, great news involved. What's the one thing, knowing things are busy, any takeaways? What's something you want top of mind for dealers leaving this conversation as it relates to AI?
I think you have to be super strategic at this point. Like, now is a time to build, and you could use right now any way to build autonomous agents to make your lives a lot easier. Not just make it easier, but make it less expensive for you. I mean, that is the number one takeaway that I can give everybody right now that would help, because that's what I'm gonna do, right? Where you can take 30, 40, 50, 80% of your top line and bring it straight to EBITDA. But you can't do that unless you look at your operating costs, look at exactly the same tasks everybody is doing, and try to build an agent autonomously that could actually do that work so that you don't need as many people. And overall, then all of it goes to the EBITDA line. And overall, I'm going to tell you, Dan, because I hear it from investors all over the place, there's companies like Cursor. You got 10 employees and it generates $100 million in revenue. That's when the company's worth something, because you realize the efficiencies of that company is enormous right now. There's lots of that happening. And that's a trend, but that's one that I aspire to be more like.
And if there's folks that say, we've often had experts on and doing our whole series on AI, you, of course, being one of them, Diana, and chatting about it being, especially at various dealerships of sizes, a supplement, not a replacement. Do you still feel that is the case as it relates to staffing and folks too throughout the dealership space?
Exactly. So for me, I say to my employees, it would be great that I could have you focus a lot more on relationships, right? Versus doing 100 tasks and all this processing that you have to do to even launch a campaign. So to me, the ability to be able to have that done through autonomous agents is the wave of the future, because nobody wants that job, Dan. It's not like you think I have employees that go, oh yeah, I want to make banner advertising all day, every single day. Yeah, let me do it. The $2.99, yeah, I love posting that, and I love putting that on out single month. Like, to me, those are the things that nobody wants to do. It's mind-numbing. Why are you having everybody do it still? And that's where I'm saying, take it away from them so you could actually have them do things that they love to do. It's something that everybody then wins. It's not something that it's like, oh, I lost an employee. The employee doesn't want to do that job anyway. So if you can automate that task, why wouldn't you do it? For everybody's sake. And so that's how I think we can win.
I have to say, I have a lot of appreciation for the creative folks doing those banner ads, especially in media buying as well. There's skill sets I don't have. It is amazing, certainly hearing you on that point, Diana. The VADA 26, you are a speaker this year. Anything you're looking forward to about attending the event, addressing the crowd, really engaging with dealers in Virginia as part of this year's convention?
Dan, I want to learn more, but I just remember this news that I was going to tell you, and I wanted to get your opinion on this too. I saw the news that Cox had thrown out VinQ in their platform. Did you see that?
I caught that news as part of their updates. We do receive those, yes.
Yes, it's all over the press, right? It actually, I think, even hit Auto News. I'm like, there you go. Something happened. They don't want certain companies to have certain levels of data and certain levels of access. And this is where you're going to see people basically putting up walls. And so this is the beginning of a lot of that, I think, in the future.
I appreciate you mentioning that, Diana, and I know some folks, everyone's received that news, but to have that extra insight and looking into it, it'll be interesting to see where all that plays out. Really appreciate you taking time.
Data is king. That's what I believe, Dan. Data is king right now.
You've been hearing from Diana Lee, talking about the importance of data. Diana's co-founder and CEO of Constellation. And we're going to mention it for one final time here, VADA Live, for this segment. The convention, June 22nd through to 25th. It is in Virginia Beach at the Marriott Oceanfront Resort. Diana will be there as a speaker among many experts and plenty of activities. We'll encourage you to register, find out more information. All that is all on VADA's website. We appreciate you for watching VADA Live. I'm your host, Dan Kerrigan, for yet another segment, and we hope to see you next time.